Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings for Wednesday, January the 18th. Now we do have a decent sized Wednesday slate today, 9-gamer, so as always guys, we're going to give a quick game-by-game breakdown of this 9-game slate, what I do like, taking a first look at this slate on Tuesday night. As always though, before we get started with the breakdown, if you guys enjoy these DFS videos and if they do help you out, please hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to the channel, check out the sponsor of the video, PrizePicks. I'm sure most of you have heard about PrizePicks, but if you're not playing on PrizePicks yet, you can sign up with my promo code Noah. If you do look at the bottom of the screen, when you do sign up with promo code Noah, you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. And as always, for those of you that have never heard about PrizePicks, they're a player prop site, so a little bit different than DraftKings and FanDuel. You're not creating a lineup competing against other players. It's just you versus their projections. So you can see they already have some projections posted for Wednesday's games. You can take a look at their board, see if there's anything that stands out to you. You just take more or less on a player's projections. That's simple. You have to make at least 2 picks. You can make up to 6 picks, and you can win up to 25x your money on PrizePicks. So give them a try, guys. Use that promo code Noah when you sign up, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. But let's go ahead and talk through Wednesday's slate. This one should be interesting. We got a lot of interesting games. So there's some games that are going to be really fun to target for DFS that we'll talk about. But first game of the night is going to be the Wizards and the Knicks. And we'll start off on the Knicks side. So with this Knicks team right now, it's pretty straightforward on the guys you really want to target. You mainly want to look to like the starters. The bench guys just aren't really playing enough minutes on this Knicks team. So Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson. If you're going to play anyone on New York, those are going to be the guys you're going to be considering. Now that the team is fully healthy, I wouldn't consider anyone on the Knicks a priority today, but Julius Randle continues to just play massive minutes on a nightly basis. He's had amazing usage this season. He's been playing at a really high level. Matchup against the Wizards, I think, is fine. At 10-1, I wouldn't consider Randle a top option today, but I think he's viable. I think Brunson is viable. I think Barrett is okay at 6,600. There's no core plays coming from the Knicks, but those guys are playable options. Mitchell Robinson at 5,500, I don't mind as like a center value. I think this matchup against the Wizards is fine. We've seen the Wizards give up some big games to centers lately. We're also seeing Mitchell Robinson play really big minutes. He's been getting like 34, 35, 36 minutes in competitive games, which is something we haven't seen from him in the past. So when Mitchell Robinson's playing like high 30s minutes, I mean, he's a guy that does have some big-time upside. He's a good shot blocker. He can get you a double-double. Don't mind him at 5,500. No standout options from the Knicks, though. I think you're just kind of looking at those 4 guys as like GPP plays. And then on the Wizards side, it's kind of the same thing. Now, we will need to keep an eye on the status of Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal listed as questionable for this game. Hasn't played in a while. He was out for a good bit, or I think he made a return, and then he got ruled out again. But he's been out for like the last 2 weeks. We'll have to see if Beal returns. If Beal returns, don't think he's really going to be in play, but that obviously would make Porzingis and Kuzma look less appealing. At their price tags, I'm not super interested in either one of Porzingis or Kuzma. 8,900 for Porzingis is a reasonable price tag, but like on this slate, he just doesn't really stand out. It's a tough matchup too. The Knicks have done a really good job limiting center production this season. Revenge game, but I'm not super interested in Porzingis, not super interested in Kuzma either. I know Kuzma had a really big game last time these teams played. He put up 61 DraftKings points. Don't really want to chase that though. I think 8,200 is an appropriate price tag for Kuzma. And obviously if Beal returns, then he just he doesn't even look that appealing. And the rest of the Wizards, Monte Morris, Gafford, like these guys I'm not really going to play on a 9-game slate. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game, Atlanta and Dallas. So for Dallas today, Luka Doncic is probable, so he is expected back for this game. I think at 12,400, Luka is firmly in play today. It's going to come down to roster construction. What kind of value are we going to have on this slate? Are we going to be able to pay up for Luka? I think that's really the big question. But Luka is someone that I'm always interested in as a pay-up option. I think this matchup against Atlanta is definitely solid. Atlanta's defense has not been that great lately. So, yeah, I think Luka's firmly in play today. The rest of Dallas, like Wood and Dinwiddie, I don't love at their price tags. They got priced up a little bit for that time that Luka was out for the few games that Luka missed. So they feel priced about right. Tim Hardaway Jr. is still out, but I don't know if that really makes too much of a difference when it comes to, if anything, just makes, gives more usage to Luka, to Wood, to Dinwiddie. There's really no value coming from Dallas. So for me on Dallas, I think it's just Luka, and that's probably it. And then on the Atlanta side, this matchup against Dallas, I don't love. Dallas plays at a really slow pace. They've been fairly good defensively. They could potentially get Dorian Finney-Smith back for this game. So like Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, I don't love on this slate. I think DeJounte is only 8K. Like 8K DeJounte Murray, I could see going to. He's a guy that does have, 45, 50 point upside and can put up 45, 50 point draft or 50 DraftKings points like any night. Again, the matchup's not great, but 8K is kind of cheap for DeJounte Murray. Don't mind him at that price tag, but the rest of Atlanta, I'll probably be avoiding. Clint Capella returned last game, but I think he did come off the bench. He played limited minutes. Maybe if he's back in the starting lineup, we could consider him at 5,700, but I have a feeling the Hawks are going to kind of keep his minutes low till he kind of like starts getting ramped up. So if he's going to be limited with minutes, it's really hard to consider Capella a great option. And then obviously, Collins, Okongwu, those guys don't look nearly as appealing with Capella back. So that'll do it for this game. Let's move on to the next one, Indiana and OKC. So for OKC today, I think it's really just SGA that I'm interested in from OKC, and that's probably it. I don't love this matchup against Indiana. Indiana's got some good perimeter defenders. Andrew Nembhard's been good defensively this season. SGA likes to drive to the basket a lot, and Miles Turner's a really good rim protector. He can block shots. So, I don't think the matchup's great for SGA. I don't consider him a top option today, but he's always a viable tournament play, and if you're playing a lot of lineups, it makes sense to sprinkle SGA in. But no one from OKC is going to be a priority for me, I don't think. At least, not in my, not in a main lineup or, single entry or anything like that. On the Indiana side, though, there's definitely some plays I like from Indiana. So, really, really good matchup here for Miles Turner. Obviously, there's no Tyrese Halliburton right now. So, all these guys get a little bit of a boost, including Turner. We've seen OKC give up huge games to centers this season. They've been really bad defensively against bigs. They've been a bad rebounding team. Love the spot for Miles Turner. I think 7,100 is a price tag that he can easily outperform, especially in this matchup. So he's definitely my favorite play on Indiana. But I think Buddy Hield without Halliburton right now is still viable. He's kind of been up and down these last few games, but we know he's going to play big minutes. He's going to get more opportunity on offense. At 6,400, I think he has the upside to pay off that price tag. I think Benedict Mathurin, TJ McConnell, these guys are still playable options too. Mathurin's been playing pretty big minutes. He only got 28 minutes last game, but I think most nights he's probably going to play 30-plus minutes. At 5,600, he is still a playable option. TJ McConnell has been absolutely crushing off the bench. The last 3 games without Halliburton, 35, 43, 56 DraftKings points. He's been doing it in pretty limited minutes as well. Now, he did get 32 minutes last game, but man, he's been averaging 2 fantasy points per minute. He's been producing at a crazy high rate. This feels unsustainable. I have a feeling that McConnell's going to come back down to earth at some point. But without Halliburton right now, the minutes are definitely there, I guess. I think most nights when he's coming off the bench, McConnell's only going to play 25, 26 minutes. But if he gets 30, 32 minutes, 5,500 is definitely too cheap for McConnell if he continues to play 30 to 32 minutes. But I don't know if he's going to play 30 to 32 minutes coming off the bench. He could play 24, 25. So 5,500, the price tag is still okay for McConnell. Going to be interested to see what his ownership is, though. If he's going to be really popular, this is a guy that I think I would definitely be okay fading, because I think if he just goes out there and puts up 40 in 25 minutes, then you just live with it if you fade him. But if he starts or something, if they decide to move in the starting lineup, that would definitely change my thoughts. I think McConnell's in play, but will be cautious with what his ownership's going to be. Again, if he's really chalky, I think I'd be okay, going underweight or potentially fading in tournaments. And then Andrew Nembhard has been a guy that has historically done well without Halliburton. Now, as of late, without Halliburton, he's really not done much. He's been playing good minutes. He just hasn't been super productive. Feel like at some point, Andrew Nembhard's going to have a good game. We saw him put up some huge games when Halliburton was out earlier this season. So at 5,200, still kind of affordable. I do have some interest in Andrew Nembhard today. I think he's still in play, but that'll probably do it for Indiana. Definitely my favorite play on the Pacers today is going to be Miles Turner. But let's move on to the next game. Talk about Cleveland and Memphis. So for Memphis today, not a spot where I really want to be targeting Memphis. This Cleveland team is good defensively. They play at a really slow pace. Ja Morant, always someone that has upside, but I don't love this matchup against Cleveland. I think this is definitely one of the tougher spots for him. Not the best spot for Jaren Jackson Jr. or Desmond Bane or really any of these other guys. So I think on a 9-game slate, I'll probably just be avoiding Memphis for the most part. Now on the Cleveland side, a little bit different because Cleveland is going to be shorthanded today. Donovan Mitchell is listed as doubtful for this game. So with Donovan Mitchell expected to be out, big boost for both Darius Garland and Karis LeVert. Darius Garland is 8,100. Karis LeVert is 5,100. Both these guys look really appealing. Garland, surprisingly this season without Mitchell, he's not really had a ton of great games, but I think last game against the Pelicans, was that without Mitchell? I think that was some game Mitchell got hurt in, and Garland had a really big game. But this season without Mitchell, Garland has not put up huge games, but I still think at 8,100, he is firmly in play today. I think Karis LeVert looks great at 5,100. We've seen LeVert have some really big games when he's been starting in place of Mitchell or starting in place of Garland. And obviously the minutes should be there in the starting lineup. So definitely interested in Karis LeVert today. The rest of Cleveland, like Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, I don't know if those guys get too much of a boost without Mitchell, but I think Mobley at 6,100 is okay. I think he could pick up some more usage here. He's not shown a ton of upside this season, but the price tag without Mitchell puts him in play, in my opinion. And that's probably it for Cleveland. I don't really see anything else I'm going to go to on this team. Definitely favorite plays here are Garland and LeVert. But that'll do it for that game. Let's move on to the next one, Miami and New Orleans. Not one I really have much interest in here. On the New Orleans side, it's not the best spot against a pretty good Miami defense that I really don't like to target. So CJ McCollum, always in play. Right now without Zion, without Ingram, he's going to have big-time upside. Obviously, the usage is going to be there, but the 9K price tag and in this tough matchup, I'm not considering McCollum a priority today, just kind of a guy I would sprinkle in. Same could be said for like a Jonas Valanciunas. Now, JVal's minutes have been pretty good lately. Last game, he got 35. Game before that, he got 30. Hate the matchup. Bam's done a really good job defensively this season. I know Miami's been one of the toughest matchups for centers, but we've seen JVal produce even in tough matchups. He needs to get the minutes. As of late, he's been getting the minutes. If he continues to get the minutes, I think there is some upside for JVal even in a tough matchup, but would only consider him like a GPP option. Najee Marshall's been playing great, starting in place of Zion. He's been playing really big minutes too. 5,600, I think he's still viable at this price tag. Again, don't love the matchup against Miami, but he's going to play huge minutes. The price tag's still reasonable. I'm okay with Najee Marshall. That's probably going to be it, though, for the Pelicans. And then on the other side with the Heat, not much I really like on the Heat today. I believe Kyle Lowry is questionable. He is questionable for this game. If Kyle Lowry returns, that just lowers my interest in really everyone. Bam, Butler, Hero. Even if Lowry remains out, I wouldn't consider Bam, Butler, or Hero priority plays. I think they're all priced about right. Bam is 8,800. Butler's 8,700, Hero is 7,300. I think Hero, given the savings, would probably be my favorite of those three, assuming that Lowry is out. Now, last game without Lowry in his return, Hero did not play that well, only played 31 minutes, had just 27 DraftKings points, but he should take on a bigger role without Lowry, should have the ball in his hands a lot more. He'd be okay at 7,300, but for me, on this Miami team, I don't really like much, and in general, this game is not super appealing. There's definitely some other games I would rather target. The next one that we're going to talk about I really like, so moving on to this game, Charlotte and Houston. This is by far the best game on the slate just for DFS purposes. Two teams that play at a really fast pace. Two teams that don't play much defense either. I should have looked up what this total was. I don't know if we have a total out for this game, but I have a feeling this game has like a massive total just because of how fast these teams play, how bad defensively these teams are. Let's see. So I don't see a total yet for this game, at least where I'm looking. But man, the total in this game probably will be like over 240, maybe even close to 250. Great spot for really everyone here on the Houston side. Kevin Porter Jr., I believe, is questionable for this game. He is questionable. I think he's been out the last two games. Kevin Porter Jr., if he returns, it's going to be a little tricky. First game back from injury. We don't really know how healthy he's going to be. Obviously, the matchup's really good, but I would be a little bit hesitant on Kevin Porter Jr. if he returns today. Obviously, if he returns, that makes Jalen Green look less appealing. It makes these other guys look a little bit less appealing. But if Kevin Porter Jr. remains out, then we'll see Jalen Green have a really big role. And obviously, in a great matchup like this against Charlotte, I think there's upside for Jalen Green here. I think he's in play, assuming KPJ remains out. And I think there would be some value to go to from Houston. Both KJ Martin and Eric Gordon have been benefiting without Kevin Porter Jr. KJ Martin has been starting. He's been playing pretty decent minutes. Obviously, matchup's really good here. I would like him for value. And then Eric Gordon has been a big beneficiary this season without Kevin Porter Jr. We've seen him have some good games lately and, still cheap, really good matchup. I'd have interest in Gordon for value, assuming Kevin Porter Jr. remains out. And then I do want to talk about Şengün because I love this matchup for Şengün. We've seen Charlotte give up huge games to centers this season. They've been one of the best matchups for centers. And Şengün is coming off the best game of his career. 33 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 blocks, had 70 DraftKings points against the Lakers. And worth noting, his minutes have really started to get up there. 30 minutes against the Clippers, 37 minutes last game against the Lakers. If Şengün continues to get 33, 34, 35 minutes, I mean, he has a ton of upside because he's obviously a really good per-minute producer. This matchup is incredible. Even at 7,700, I think Şengün could still have a huge game here and pay off this price tag. So with the price tag coming up, I still think Şengün's firmly in play today. A lot of interest in him. And then on the Charlotte side, Really, really like this matchup for LaMelo. Made LaMelo the thumbnail for today. We've seen Houston give up huge games to guards this season. I mean, you could not ask for a better spot for LaMelo facing a team that plays no defense, a team that plays really fast. This is the perfect matchup for LaMelo. So at 9,600, I really like LaMelo in tournaments here. I think he's firmly in play. I think Terry Rozier at 7,400 looks okay. The matchup's just so good. This game environment is so good that I could see playing 2, 3, 4 guys from this game just because it should be so high scoring and it should be a competitive game as well. So kind of interested in Rozier. Plumlee, PJ Washington, the rest of these guys I'm not as interested in. But Plumlee, man, he's been playing super well lately. He's been super consistent. Minutes have been pretty good as well. Matchup against Houston obviously is favorable, so don't mind Plumlee. I mean, you look at his game log, he's just been rock solid. Now, I feel like Plumlee is one of these guys that probably it's not very likely for him to go out there and win you the slate. Rarely does he drop 50, but I mean, he's had 45 in 2 out of his last 3 games, and those have kind of been tougher matchups. Now he gets to face the Rockets. So, Plumlee probably my second favorite play on Charlotte behind LaMelo. And then I do want to mention that Gordon Hayward is still doubtful, so he's not expected to play. Jalen McDaniels is really cheap. He should continue to start in place of Gordon Hayward, and this matchup's obviously really good. 4,900 for McDaniels here in a really good matchup. I definitely like him as a value play. I know the game log doesn't look that pretty, but last game he did play really well against Boston. Now gets a great matchup, still cheap. Do like him as a value as well. But there's a lot to like in this game. By far the best game on the slate to target. Just should be great for DFS purposes. There's a lot of plays I really like in that one. So wanted to spend a good amount of time on that Charlotte-Houston game. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one, the Clippers and the Jazz. So we'll start off on the Jazz. Lauri Markkanen questionable for this game. Lauri Markkanen, I think, has been out the last 2 games, and the biggest beneficiaries without Markkanen have definitely been Jordan Clarkson. Mike Conley benefits a little bit. Malik Beasley as a value play, we would definitely have some interest in. Clarkson at his price tag, I'm probably only considering if Markkanen remains out. If Markkanen comes back, I don't have a ton of interest in Clarkson. Don't have a ton of interest in really any of these Jazz guys if Markkanen returns. But I do want to mention that without Kelly Olynyk, we have seen Walker Kessler start these last few games, and he's been playing really, really well. I think he's probably my favorite play on the Jazz. He's been getting good minutes, 27, 32, 31 minutes his last few games. I think as long as he avoids foul trouble here, he probably plays 30 to 32 minutes. And Walker Kessler has been really productive on a per-minute basis when he gets playing time. He's a good scorer around the rim. He can rebound. He can block shots. And per minute wise, he's definitely too cheap if he continues to play 30 to 32 minutes. So definitely like Walker Kessler as a value center. The rest of these guys, though, I'm probably only considering Conley, Vanderbilt, Beasley. Probably only considering these guys if Lauri Markkanen remains out. And then on the Clippers side, so Clippers are on a back-to-back today. We really don't know who's going to be available here. I have a feeling that Paul George probably sits. Paul George played on Tuesday, but he was questionable. For now, just going to assume that everyone plays. If everyone plays, I'm probably just going to full fade the Clippers here. I think the one guy that I do like, though, is Zubac, just because this matchup has been so favorable for centers this season. We've seen the Jazz give up some really big games to centers. I know Zubac's had some success in this matchup. His minutes have also been really good lately. Been playing big minutes. He played big minutes on Tuesday night, so probably my favorite play on the Clippers is Zubac, but I have a feeling that we're going to see some guys get ruled out here. The Clippers, it seems like every back-to-back, they're going to rule out players. So maybe Kawhi sits, maybe Paul George sits, maybe they both sit, and we get a lot of value from the Clippers. But we'll just have to wait and see. For right now, nothing stands out on the Clippers outside of Zubac. He's my favorite play there. Let's move on to the next game, talk about Minnesota and Denver. So for Denver today, they're another team on a back-to-back. We'll have to monitor their injury report. Jokic at 11-4. Definitely like as a pay-up option today. We're going to have to, again, wait and see what kind of value we get on the slate. But if there's value and I can pay up for Jokic, I have no issue going there. Jokic, we've seen just so good this season, putting up massive game after massive game. Had a triple-double on Tuesday night, played 34 minutes. He's going to play huge minutes here if it's a close game. Rudy Gobert is questionable for Minnesota, so this matchup could get even better for Jokic if Gobert gets ruled out. So I'm definitely interested in Jokic here. The rest of Denver, though, not a ton of interest in really anyone else, but do want to mention that Jamal Murray has been I think he's been sitting back-to-backs lately, or at least he's been questionable for some back-to-backs. I know he was questionable for Tuesday's game, so pay attention to this. We can maybe see Jamal Murray sit this game. Obviously, if that were to happen, Bones Highland, Bruce Brown, those would be big beneficiaries, would be really good plays. But for now, only guy that I'm super interested in on Denver is Nikola Jokic. On the Minnesota side, some big news to keep an eye on here. Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, both questionable. Anthony Edwards, if he plays, should have a really, really big role, should have really big usage. I think at 8,700, he would be a viable option on the slate. I would have some interest in him if he plays. if Gobert plays, don't love the spot for him against Jokic. I'll probably be avoiding Gobert here. But obviously, if Gobert gets ruled out, big beneficiary is going to be Naz Reid. Naz Reid would probably be one of the best value plays on the slate if Gobert got ruled out. We know Naz Reid can produce when he gets minutes. He's still cheap. He's got power forward and center eligibility. I would have a ton of interest in him, if Gobert does not play today. But for now, assuming Gobert and Edwards are in, I think the only guy that I'm really interested in for Minnesota would be Edwards. Now, if Edwards and Gobert both get ruled out, then Russell, Kyle Anderson, Naz Reid, all these guys will be really good plays. Even McDaniels that I have some interest in. Maybe Noel we could consider. Just kind of a wait and see for now on Minnesota here. But let's go ahead and talk about the last game of the night, the Kings and the Lakers. And similar to the Charlotte-Houston game, this is another really good game environment. Two teams that play fast, two teams that don't play a ton of defense. On the Lakers side, I think the standout play here is definitely LeBron. But I do want to mention LeBron's price tag is starting to get up there now. We saw him priced like at 10,600, 10,700. Well, now he's 11,500. At this price tag, you kind of need LeBron to put up like 65, 70 to be worth it. Now, he has that upside. We've seen him put up some big games lately, 61, 64, 74. Really good matchup as well. I have no issue paying up for LeBron today. Would probably rather get to Jokic or Luka if I could, but I think LeBron is viable. The rest of the Lakers, though, I'm not super interested in. Just because when LeBron's healthy, none of these guys really are worth their price tags. Westbrook's been good, but he's 9K. Not going to pay 9K for Westbrook. Thomas Bryant's minutes have kind of been all over the place lately. I like the matchup. He had a lot of success against Sacramento last time they played. Don't mind Thomas Bryant as a GPP option, but you look at his minutes, they've been trending down. We're seeing the Lakers play Wenyen Gabriel a lot more as of late, which obviously for Thomas Bryant's case, that's not great. But he did have a lot of success against Sacramento last time they played, if you want to factor that in. But that'll do it for the Lakers. Really, LeBron's the standout play from the Lakers. And then on the Kings side, I think Sabonis and Fox both look appealing here. Really good matchup for Sabonis. Without Anthony Davis, this Lakers team is definitely going to struggle defensively against bigs. We've seen a lot of bigs have really good games against the Lakers. Last time these teams played, Sabonis had 25, 12, and 7, 52 Draftkings points. He's been playing huge minutes lately. Production's been great. Price tag at 10.5 feels about right, but I think the matchup's really good here for Sabonis. Then the matchup's really good for De'Aaron Fox, and 8,300 for De'Aaron Fox. That definitely looks like too cheap of a price tag. I think in this matchup, Fox should be closer to 9K. I think we are getting a little bit of a discount on him. I know he's had some bad games lately, but this is definitely a get-right spot for Fox against a team that plays fast, that doesn't play much defense. This should be a super high-scoring game. Really like De'Aaron Fox today. Really like Sabonis. Probably out on the rest of the Kings, though. I don't see too much else I like on this Kings team besides Sabonis and Fox. So that'll do it, guys, for this 9-game Wednesday slate. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Appreciate you watching. Hit that like button if you guys enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And again, go check out PrizePicks, sponsor of the video. You guys can sign up for PrizePicks. Use my promo code NOAH when you do sign up, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. Definitely check out PrizePicks if you guys have not yet. But good luck tonight. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Appreciate all your support on these DFS videos, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.